Monday, April 6th, 2020. It's about 5:30 in the morning, New York time. Let's first start the day off with the big elephant in the room, which is the coronavirus. If you see the little link right here on the bottom of YouTube, I will have the link posted right there so you can find this for yourself as we see. Oh man, the picture's off. But America, you can see over here, this is what I'm talking about. For the numbers, this is obviously a screenshot. So for the numbers, you can go to this site right here. America, last I checked, it was like 244,000. Right now, there's 1.2 million people that have the disease, with 79,000 deaths. Now, the big news of today is this: Europe looks like they can start thinking of phase two. Uh, Over the weekend, as we see Spain's rise in the number of deaths, there's only 674 new deaths yesterday, opposed to 809. So, and it's about half the rate reported last week. So, everyone over in Europe is pretty excited about that. It's also, they're saying the Spanish health minister is saying that, with the rate showing that they're dying less, that it's showing that the rate is better, and it's getting a lot better over in Europe. But let's not forget that everybody's social distancing in Europe, so that would almost make perfect sense that the rate would decline, because people are not supposed to be interacting with people. So let's be very careful with what happens in the near future, because if they open everything back up and then the spike and the new cases spike, then we'll know that all this was just because of social distancing, that it actually did not solve the problem. It just put a band-aid on the problem and paused the problem. But that we cannot tell. We have to see what happens in the future. Italy has recorded 128,000 new cases to date and 15,000 deaths, but they've had the smallest daily increase yesterday, or basically Sunday, because today's Monday, since March 19th, which they're also gun-ho about that and very happy because they think that they can open the economy soon and things can go back to normal. With that information, the stock market is rallying. Basically the European index is rallying, started or led by travel and leisure in Europe, and Japan ended 4% higher, even though the Prime Minister of Japan uh, might be declaring it a state of emergency. But, hey, the stock market thinks that this is great news, that they might open up Europe, even though the world is getting tighter and tighter and we are increasing in depths. But let's check the markets. All right. So this is the futures of the SPX, or the ESs, for the month of June. As you can see, since the futures open, which they opened at 6 o'clock on Sunday night, the market has gone straight up. Let's see if we can get some fibs on here. If you don't know the fibs, you just kind of draw from the top. To the bottom, well, really from the bottom to the top as well. Kind of do both. And in essence, your numbers are going to be exactly the same. But what it does is it gives you a box. When you do it both ways, it gives you a box. So then you can kind of see if it breaks down here, your targets are here and here. And if it breaks out here, your targets are here and here. But throughout the day, look for kind of resistance at the, what is this, the 25.8773, because it's the high of the overnight, or so far. It's only 5:30 in the morning, so this could change by 8 o'clock, but kind of mark those as your numbers. It had resistance there at 1:40 in the morning, all the way basically till 4 before it got rejected, and then found other support. The 50% of the basically so far of the move would be 25.3609. So pay attention to that number. Like it says, we're basically up 100 points, but again, like I said, we had resistance coming. Let's check out oil. So what's going on with oil? It's at 27. It's coming back, but let's check it out year to date just so you can kind of get like a nice picture of it. So we have a nice little gap from the 41 to 35, so it's 5 point gap. We found a bottom kind of like at 19, but it kind of makes sense because 20, like the psychological effect of everything under 20 is catastrophic. So it makes a lot of sense that you would have a lot of support at the 20 level. But what's going to be the big elephant in the room is whether Russia and Saudi Arabia are going to get their act together, so to speak, and stop producing oil. But like that's the short term, and that's like oil is really like news driven. So that's what the traders are going to be using as a catalyst to kind of manipulate the price. But let's not forget, even if OPEC and Russia decide to sign this deal and cut production, let's not forget the world has stopped. It's at a dead still. So the demand for oil is very low, regardless of if even if the world were to stop producing oil completely, it would still take a little bit for us to use the oil on reserves because the airplanes have stopped, the cars have stopped. The world has basically come to a standstill. So be very careful if you're going to invest in oil and kind of let this play out and let us see when the demand comes back. Let's see, gold. All right. So as we see with gold, when you would have thought gold was going to shoot up higher, I'm giving a synopsis now. I'm not going to do this every day. I'll probably just talk about intro and what's going on for the morning, but it's kind of need to know what's going on. Right here, when you would think that gold would have spiked and gone to the moon, when all this happened, it did not. It actually crashed, right? And it crashed big. And now it's starting to recover, and now it's starting to make sense as it is the flight to safety. But what this is basically a liquidity crunch, right? When the rest of the market failed, gold failed too because everyone sold, trying to like liquidate their money, get some cash on hand. So that's why this failed. Now that this is starting to rise, this is what should more or less be the indication of your flight to safety. If we start getting a large bullish move, look at this. Shoulder, head. This could be a nice head and shoulder breakout above the basically 1700. So if we see that, then we might see a little bit more pressure on the stock market to the downside. Right? Let's see. I think I've talked to you guys long enough this morning. It's been about maybe 10 minutes. Don't want to take up too much of your morning. So we're ending with that.